Welcome in, everybody, to another live edition of 410 Sports Talk. I'm James Haskell, along with my co-host Glenn Martin, and we're here tonight to talk about the Baltimore Ravens, the Denver Broncos matchup. And, of course, DK is in the background running the show, as always, pulling the strings as the epic puppet master that he is. But I'm really excited to talk about this game, Glenn, because we need a bounce back. If we ever need a bounce back, my goodness, we need a bounce back. And I'm ready to talk about whether or not we think that's going to be it, get you guys prepared for it, talk about what the Broncos are going to bring to this game, and, of course, what the Ravens are bringing. So let's get right into it, Glenn. Usually we start here with, like, injury updates, and we got some ones that'll make you a little bit nervous. So what do we got as far as injuries when it comes to the old Baltimore Ravens?
Yeah, well, let me just start. I think we should start with the good news, right?
Yep, let's do it.
That's usually a good place. So back at practice. This is exciting news here, Jimbo. We got Ronnie Stanley back at practice.
Yes, sir. Can we clap it up for Ronnie, dude?
Big Ron back out there.
The bionic ankle is back.
That's right. We know the difference that he makes when he's on the field. We love Patrick McCarr. We think he's a fantastic sixth offensive lineman. He's great, but he's no Ronnie Stanley. Ronnie Stanley is a different animal. He's back at practice, so I was excited to see that. Let me see here. I'm about to pull it up. That way everybody can kind of join along with us. There we go. All right. And then also back at practice, I think this should get everybody else also excited here. Here we go. We got J.K. Dobbins back at practice. It's pulling up now. Here we go.
J.K.
Yeah, now a lot of his stuff I think they said was going to be on like the side fields, but nonetheless, I'm happy to see it. Also, catching passes on kind of doing individual drills was Kyle Hamilton, also back at practice after it looked like he was a bigger loss than the coaching staff could have predicted. Like, and really the fans also. Like, I think he was kind of, had a slow start out of the gate, but man, he became an integral part of the Ravens defense. And that the kind of the way they envisioned him all along, that versatile role that he was able to play, you take him out and it looked like the Ravens were really missing him. So excited to get him back. He was in a limited role Wednesday, limited role Thursday. So hopefully he'll be on track to play. And then also back at practice, as you can see on the screen, Isaiah Likely, he missed last week with the ankle injury. So while we're pretty deep at tight end, I think they missed him as well. We saw the kind of the mistimed jump and he slowed down a little bit. Ultimately doesn't come up with the catch in the end zone with what's his name?
Josh Oliver.
Josh Oliver. So maybe the Isaiah Likely return will kind of help in the passing game, which we desperately need. Also, Lamar Jackson left Wednesday's practice early, but practiced in full today. So no worries there. He'll be back. Also good to see Marlon back after he missed a few plays. And they scored a touchdown right when he left. So we cannot afford to lose Marlon Humphrey. Marcus Peters been catching a lot of criticism, Jimbo. He doesn't – they're still calling it rest. But he doesn't practice Wednesday or Thursday. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Are you okay with it?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it, certainly. But I don't know. I mean, you just got to he's a vet.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day – and I think a lot of what's been going on with Marcus is not something that practice reps really. It's just everything. It's everything. It's an attitude thing, right? So at the end of the day, get your head right. You know what I mean? Like, that's all.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it. But man, I'm so excited about this list, Glenn, because the three that you talked about are huge. JK, even though he's probably not going to go this week, like you said, it's still a lot of side stuff. But the fact that he's making his way back.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Kyle Hamilton and Ronnie Stanley, those were two huge injuries. We thought potentially both were done for an extended period of time after that game, and it doesn't look to be the case. So are you at all concerned about the quad to Lamar or, the fact that he left early? Now, today he was his full participant, so that's a good sign. But any cause for concern there?
The only concern I have is just the lack of consistency, the lack of flow, lack of timing on the offense. It's not going to be helped by your quarterback not participating in full on all the days. But having said that, he did practice most of Wednesday and then only missed the second half and then practice in full on Thursday. So I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But man, I anything that can help get this passing offense back on track is all I'm up for it. So, yeah, hopefully they have so. And I see Tylan Wallace left practice. I guess that's not really an issue in the passing game, considering he's a relative
Had to
non-factor.
get that one in, huh?
Yeah, I just had to mention that.
Couldn't leave that one alone, huh?
No, I had to mention that. But also, Jimbo, Shamar Bridges got signed to the practice squad. He is back. Wide receiver that everybody loved coming out of preseason when he made a couple of contested catches. He's back, and so at the very least, they have a guy who knows the offense. He's available to be elevated if it's a serious injury with Tylan and any of the other guys go down. But
one of the things I wonder, Glenn, about that is, did he just get cut and then have to pay for his surgery on his own and then sign? Like, did the Ravens just save themselves some costs?
I don't think they. You know what I'm saying? I think if you're hurt on the football field, the football team takes care of you.
Still covered after that. Like surgery and things, and
that would be horrible. Imagine cutting a guy because he got hurt and then not.
But if you're independently contracted, right? I mean, I don't know what the stipulations are.
I think they cut him with an injury settlement, if I remember.
Oh correctly. Yeah, that's true. So they paid him out, covering the surgery things. So it wasn't like the Ravens just said, "Well, get your own surgery."
Sorry,
you're out of here. Let's see, Jeff Zrebeck, who shout out to Jeff, who's doing all this while on paternity leave. So shout out to Jeff. Ravens signed Shamar Bridges to their practice squad. Bridges was the team for training camp preseason, but left as a part of the roster cut down. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I don't know what he does to move the needle. I don't know if it's any more exciting than the guys we have now. But look, something is something, right?
Yeah, good for him. Ultimately, good for him. That's how. That's
a great point. That's a great point. So I think that overwhelmingly the injury report is positive for the Baltimore Ravens. Marcus Williams is continuing to work his way back. Kohler's continuing to work his way back. And let's see, this week, Glenn, do we get the oh my gosh, what is it called? When it's your first time coming out to play? The
jitters?
No, when a movie comes out for the first time.
The premiere?
The premiere. Do we get the premiere of David Ajabo this week?
Yes, I believe we do. I believe David Ajabo. The only issue they're having, I think, is
debut. There you
go. Debut.
Yeah,
premiere is not as. Yeah, that's right. Debut sounds better.
Yeah.
I think we do. I think we see him. Why not? I mean, we're seeing all these edge players being cycled in and out, and snap counts, kind of ranging, going up and down. But man, if you can get to the quarterback, you should immediately be vaulted to the top of the list, right? Like, and in theory, I guess here's the question: we don't see him in practice, so we don't know. But all we know is back what he did in college, and what he did in college was show natural pass rush. He could bend the corner. He had great takeoff. I want to see him. I'm tired of hearing about him. I want to see him with my own two eyes.
Yeah, well, I got an interesting take on what the Ajabo effect will have on the rest of the team, the rest of that unit. So I'm excited to talk about that because I think this is good news for a few of them. But that's exciting to see him out there. Like you said, it's just another guy that we've invested in, and we're looking forward to seeing him come out. So, all right, enough of that. Let's get to the numbers here. I think that, what we'll do here, Glenn, is we'll talk. Well, not that I think. I know what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about the Broncos defense against this Ravens offense. A lot of you guys know the Ravens offense by now, but I've been excited to dig into, this defense. Geez a whiz. Look, now I go over my tab where I have all my beautiful stats and things aren't working.
I got it up for you if you need it. For the Broncos?
Yeah, let me say a couple things here for their defense before you give us some raw numbers. I mean, these guys are what's left of this team at this point, they're carrying. Right. If I'm not mistaken, statistically, Greg Roman mentioned they're number one in the red zone, which is going to be an interesting take for our offense, who point of emphasis this week has been the red zone. They're a physical unit. They have some players over there, and some real names, even though Chubb is gone and things like that. They still got some names. But give us some stats, Glenn, and then we'll talk about some specific guys on that team that you should keep your eye on.
Yeah, like you mentioned, man, they got a defense. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. Extremely talented at all three levels. It's not like they're good at one thing and struggle at the other. They're pretty much universally good across the board. So defensively, they're third in points. They give up 17.6 per game. Now, remember, all these rankings, you got to consider the offense that this defense has to carry. So the fact that they're third in points is ridiculous after, you hear some more about their offense. But yeah, third in points. They're third in yards surrendered. They give up 306 per game. Let's see. They give up 4.8 yards per play, which is fourth in the league. Like Jimmy mentioned, they are fantastic in the red zone. They only give up a touchdown on 30% of the opponent's red zone drives, which is just absolutely insane. They're third in third down conversion. We talk about, that's like the two most important areas, third down and red zone. That's really where you win the game. They give up just 32% of third downs, which is just absolutely ridiculous.
Mind-boggling, right?
Yeah, they're really good. Rushing yards per game. Let's see. They give up 121, which is 19th. That's not great. But again, we got to remember the offense that they're getting a lot of time on the field, this Denver defense. They also give up, 4.6 yards per carry, which is 19th. Against the pass, they give up 184 passing yards per game. That's third in the league. 184 passing yards. Whew. That's a little scary when you consider the struggles that the passing game has been like for the Ravens. But completion percentage, they give up 61%, which is sixth in the league. And then turnovers. They got a +1 margin. So they got one more forced turnover than they have turnover from old Russell Wilson, who's not been cooking.
Right. Once again, that's saying something.
Yeah. So because they got a ton of they got why does it not show me the total turnovers? It only shows me the ratio. But yeah, they're +1. And with that offense, like Jimmy said, that's an accomplishment. But
yeah,
let's get into some players, Jimbo. Anybody you want to highlight?
Yeah, for sure. Surtain is obviously a guy for them that has done well on the outside and has really proved his worth as a high round draft pick. Physical player. Someone to keep your eye on, certainly as we're trying to emphasize the pass game. And then Justin Simmons, I think, is going to be another important one because we lean so heavy on the tight ends. Those safeties will come down, and certainly he has in other games come down and match up against those tight ends. Not saying that he has the upper hand against Mark. I don't know if very many do, but they do have him amongst others to at least do their very best to slow down our tight end reliant offense. So those are some guys. I also just want to point out Purcell. Because if I've never seen a dude so angry. Let me tell you what, Glenn. I've spent my fair share of time around some Polynesians, and I love the people very much to death. Really awesome culture, really awesome people. Takes a lot to really get them that upset. But when you do, it's a problem.
Scary.
It's a problem. Yeah, for sure. Goodness gracious, that guy, whatever Russell Wilson said to Purcell, he was done with it, man. And certainly I'm sure he's a vocal leader in the locker room and he's the one taking the brunt of it physically every single time he's out there on the field. So look for him to be looking to really, really put his stamp on this game as well. Not that he's a guy that's out there killing it in stats, but this unit is going to be even more charged up. I'm sure they're going to be facing this game like we don't even need an offense, bro. Don't even want one.
That's how you got it when you have that as your offense. That's the only mentality you can have.
Yeah, 100%. So
they're bad.
Yeah, I think those are some names you definitely got to be on the lookout for.
Yeah, no doubt. They got some talent. Now, of course, they trade away Bradley Chubb, who was their leading pass rusher and top pick, to the Dolphins, I believe, right? That's where he went, right?
Yep.
To kind of help push, bolster their Super Bowl run. But nonetheless, still a good defense even without him. You got Surtain, who's looking to take over and carry on the name that he got passed down from his father, who was a hell of a player, a Pro Bowler. Kareem Jackson's got, is going to cause some problems down there. DJ Jones it's a surprising nose tackle that he's got some real pass rush. He's got it looks like 5.5 sacks already on the year. So yeah, they got a good defense. It's just, man, we're going to get into that offense, but let's talk about what the Ravens offense is going to do, because I'm nervous about this game, and that I look at like games you cannot lose. The Jaguars are one thing because of their history. Like they're just a history of doing poorly. They've never won anything while young franchise, but still they don't have that history look back on. But the Broncos right now, and specifically the offense of the Broncos, they're a laughing stock of the league. I mean, memes are being made on Russell Wilson damn near daily. So they cannot lose this game, Jimbo. And last week, we saw an offense that just was so out of sync. There was frustrations were running high. It's got Greg Roman considering and probably exploring the Stanford Cardinal job. And I'm nervous, Jimbo, when I see this defense. I'm going, I get the offense is trash, but how the hell? I'm just nervous, Jimbo. So try and help me out with what our offense is going to do against this defense.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna do my best here.
James, are you growing a beard? Jimmy Kidwell has to know.
Oh, is there someone asking? I just don't shave when I'm away from the house. That's just one of my things. I just don't do it. And so
don't even bring a razor on vacation.
No, I just don't do it. So yeah, I'm at my in-laws' house I've been here for a few weeks now, and yeah, I think this is 2 weeks.
Look at you.
So whatever you call this is what I'm growing.
That's right.
I don't know what it is. I just am not shaving. So yeah, definitely a lot to be nervous about, Glenn. But I also think have a lot to be excited for as well. In that, weren't you I mentioned they give up their 19th in rushing or against the rush, give up 4.6. I think it's funny because everyone is talking about the lack of passing game and the 7 drops. Well, guess what the coach with the historic rushing attack is going to do when your pass catchers drop it 7 times?
He's going to run the ball like
he's going to run the ball. That's right. He's going to run the ball. And the thing that was interesting to me in his interview, he talked about how Lamar did good in the run game and seeing some lanes and things, but he felt like there was a lot of missed opportunities in the run game. I'm trying to remember exactly how he phrased it. It sounded a lot smarter than me, but I think we left a lot on the table in the last game in the run game, and I think he feels that way. So I think he doubles down, and I think that will align a lot of the other things. So I wouldn't be too nervous. I think we really put some work in on the ground, and that puts so much pressure on their offense that, I mean, it's just going to fall apart, right? I told you, Glenn, I wasn't going to pick a stupid blowout, and I'm here asking you to help me because I'm going to do it again.
Well, look, Jimbo, we have to remember that even the bad teams, the Ravens tend to not blow out.
Like the Panthers?
Yeah, I mean 13-3.
Mm.
Don't do it, Jimbo.
There's got to be a game where we get it right.
Well, here's what I'll say that makes me get a little bit optimistic about this game. Greg Roman was asked about the red zone struggles, and that's the reason they lost the game. You go 4 straight, I think, trips, and you end up with field goals. That's why if they get touchdowns on 2 of those drives, this game's not even close, right? And he talked about, well, early in the season, the run game was really struggling. It was terrible. And we were like, man, if this team can't run the ball, then why the hell is Greg Roman here? What did he do? Seemingly fix the run game, and that, they're now, what are they, second in the league in running and all that stuff. And he said, so problems come up. You focus, you emphasize those problems, you hope to fix them, and then wait for new problems to come up and hopefully fix those. And by the end of the year, you're hitting on all cylinders is the goal. Everyone knows that the red zone was their issue. Everyone knows that was where they came up short and struggled, and that's probably why they've lost a lot of these games. At least that's the offense's portion of why they lost a lot of these games where there's collapses. So I'm hopeful that with that renewed emphasis and that renewed that being the focal point now, I think that they're going to fix some of these red zone issues. And because of that, I'm going to choose to be encouraged heading into this week.
All right. I like it. I think I'm with you. I'm calling a big one on this game. I think the offense really gets it right, Glenn. I think they really get it in gear, and Greg Roman shows out. So does Lamar, the wide receivers. I think a lot of these guys are tired of hearing the noise. They want to put a complete game together.
How'd you like to be a receiver and all you hear on TV is how much trash you and your teammates are around you?
Yeah, that'd be so annoying.
Right?
And I also expect Deshaun to get some more action in this game.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? He had 22 miles an hour.
That's insane.
That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, I mean, I like we said, I'm going to just give a couple stats here. Talking about the Ravens offense. They average 25 points per game. That's 8th in the league. They have 356 yards per game, which is 11th. Let's see. They average 5.7 yards per play, which ranks 10th in the league. Third downs, they convert 45.7%, which is 5th. So you're talking about 5th in the league in converting against 2nd in the league in stopping opponents from converting. So that's going to be a big determining factor in this game. The Ravens were great on third down last week, but so bad in the red zone that it almost overshadowed it and made it look like they weren't. So I think third down's a big matchup. You mentioned the yards per carry. Ravens are third, 5.3. They're pretty damn good over in Denver. So let's see kind of what wins there. Rushing yards per game, second for the Ravens, 162.7 per game. So yeah, it could come down to, can the Ravens use their strength and impose their will on the Broncos defense, or does the Broncos force them into long third downs, and then you're kind of right in the wheelhouse of where the Broncos play well, stopping you from converting those long third downs.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, but I'm giving it all away too early. But let's talk about the fun stuff, Glenn, because I talked about get back on the offense, but this team has a ton of motivation like they didn't before, because on the other side of the house, the offense, the defense has to be thinking, well, the offense got it done at the end of the game, whether they had red zone woes or not. They gave us the lead and we let it up. Right?
Yeah.
And so this defense is coming in chomping at the bit at home against an offense that just seemingly finds ways to get worse. Worse. And when you think you can't you think you hit rock bottom, all of a sudden it gets worse, right? And I'm hoping that trend stays the same coming in for the Denver Broncos. So what do we got going on the Denver Broncos side? Obviously they got Danger Russ over there. And his squad. But what we got going on the offensive side of the ball for the old Broncos?
Jimbo, they are so bad. They are so bad. It's unbelievable how bad they are. I mean, points. They average 14.3 points per game, Jimbo. Dead last. Dead last. I mean, that should come as no surprise. You're averaging 14 a game. Again, just as your reference point, an offense that gets often criticized. Greg Roman, they call for his job at all times. Ravens average 25 points per game. Broncos are at 14. And not only are they at 14, Jimbo, but they hired Nathaniel Hackett. They hire this young coach who, he's calling plays early. They're so bad. They're so bad, he can't make game time decisions that they bring in Jerry Rossberg. Everyone here remembers Jerry Rossberg, the special teams coordinator / assistant head coach. He was the one who took over head coach duties when Harbaugh was out with COVID. He's been brought in by Nathaniel Hackett and the front office of the Broncos to take over game day decision making for their head coach. How freaking embarrassing! Your head coach is not making game time decisions, like timeouts, whether we go for it or not. That's insane that he's not the guy. And then, to add insult to injury, he then gives up his play calling duties to Clint Kubiak. Of course, everyone knows that name, Gary Kubiak's son, who was the OC for the Minnesota Vikings after he took over from his pops retiring. Now they have a new head coach, a new regime. So now he's in Denver calling plays, but it is an absolute disaster. So not only are they only 14.3 points per game, which is dead last, they also are dead last in points per play. They're 25th in yards per game at 319.
Love it.
They're 30th in third down conversion rate, 28%. Again, the Ravens are at 45. They're at 28. It's just ridiculously bad. Red zone scoring, dead last. Dead last. They score 37% on their red zone. Touchdown, 37%.
Is there something? I got to know, Glenn, do you get extra joy from watching Russell Wilson just stink up the joint? Be honest.
I don't have anything against him except for the fact that he just comes off as an absolute goober and a guy who just never shows who he truly is in front of anyone. So in that regard, yeah, but I don't have anything against him.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are piling on right now, and some of it I think is just comical, right? But a lot of it, of course, like you said, I think he had come in. I mean, when he's doing the praise God circle on the field and doing all that
stuff so forced.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me. But certainly, I'm enjoying what I'm enjoying is the dumpster fire that is the Denver Broncos, simply because forget who it is, but they gave up so much So not only is it going to be bad this year, it's going to be bad next year and the next year. Their only hope is to get a great head coach because Hackett ain't hacking it. Right? I mean, he's just simply not. So that's their only hope because it's not like they're going to get a ton of picks and nobody wants Russ.
Nope, not now.
You know why? Because he's dangerous. They don't want anything to do with him. He'll blow up your franchise.
He will, and your pocketbook.
Yeah, that's right. At the same time, and go home to Sierra and call it good.
I mean, look, they ran. Who was it? Melvin Gordon. They ran him right out of town.
Yeah,
he's not even there anymore. They got Latavius Murray as their lead back, who we all remember here was with Baltimore just last season, and now he's their lead back, their obvious lead back because nobody else could get the job done. Melvin Gordon was fumbling it left and right, couldn't hold on to the ball. So also offensively, they averaged 4.1 yards per carry, 25th in the league. They average 104 per game on the ground, 24th in the league. Completion percentage, man, they're 32nd, 58%. I mean, there's just you can't find any redeeming qualities just think about this, Jimbo. They average 1.3 touchdowns per game. Like the Ravens double that. That's just it's so bad offensively. It just makes you want how can the Ravens? Is this a must win because they just can't afford to lose to such a horrible team?
Yeah, you lose to a team like this. I'm afraid attendance is going to start dropping at the stadium for the rest of the year. I mean, I know Ravens fans are faithful, but this really makes it difficult, and this will stop. This is Charizard's flame on the tail, this. I mean, goodness, that flame at this game just stomps that flame out. That's that one drop of rain that just bloop, right on the Charizard. And he's just not Charizard. What's the name? The little one, Charmander.
Charmander. There you go.
Yeah, the little one. There you go. And he's just dead. You see the X over his eyes. That's what it would.
I mean, you cannot lose to this team, Jimbo.
No, you cannot. You're right. This is an absolute must win. If you are a playoff team, you do not lose to the Denver Broncos in this NFL season. We're not talking about last or next, but right now, if you're a playoff team, you want to contend for Super Bowl like the Ravens say they are. This is it. You have to simply win this game. And you cannot lose it. So I've realized that we skipped our offensive keys and players. So I figure what we'll do is we'll do our our defensive keys and breakout players, and then we'll just roll right into our offensive, defensive keys and players. Is that cool for you?
Let's do it.
All right. So let me talk to you about my offensive, my defensive breakout player and keys to the game. So first of all, my breakout my key to the game defensively, just like I talked about, finish the game. Right? Like no point in stringing together a good first and third quarter if you can't have a good fourth quarter. Like finish the game, stomp them out, get it over with, leave no doubt, right? And I'll tell you what, Glenn, the David Ojabo effect is going to impact one player the most.
Oh man.
And that is Odafe Owe. Mr. Odafe Owe, no way, is going to have a breakout game, Glenn. Breakout game for Odafe Owe. I'm taking 1 sack and a tackle for loss on a back in this game.
Okay.
That's a big game for Odafe Owe
this
year.
That's a huge game for him. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going with Odafe Owe. And my key to the game defensively, of course, is finish the game.
Yeah. Got to finish the game. Okay. All right. For me, defensively, you just can't have mental errors. We've seen it too much with this team, especially in the fourth quarter of all of their losses where they're just letting guys run open. Last week, we saw Jermichael Hasty wide open, absolutely wide open. Can't have it. Just can't be done. So my whole thing is mental errors because some things we're going to have to get used to seeing if we're watching this Ravens defense. They're going to pick on Brandon Stevens every time he's on the field. Every time. And it's not because he's just horrible, because he's this close so many times. But he's just the most obvious option to attack because you're not going to go after Marlon Humphrey. And you will go after Marcus Peters, but you still remember that Marcus Peters is leading the league in interceptions since he's entered the league. So he still has clout. He still has reputation. So while you go at him a little bit, which actually last week they kind of went at him a lot a bit, you still would rather go at Stevens if it's equal on both sides, because Stevens doesn't have the ball hawking ability that Peters does. So get used to Brandon Stevens being attacked, and you'll be fine. I mean, just get used to it. Understand every team has, they call him the pigeon a lot of times, but he's going to be that guy. But I don't think they have the guys that can I don't think they have the depth at that position to really expose him like some of the other teams. But yeah, no mental errors. Just be where you're supposed to be. Cover who you're supposed to cover, and you should be fine in this game. Breakout player, Roquan Smith. Been waiting for him to have that real explosive game since he's come over. I think this is the game for him, and the reason being is they're just not that talented, and I don't think their game plan will reflect that. They like to get the ball out quickly from Russell's hand. This is part of the reason why he's not really being that successful. This is just not a system that seems to fit how he likes to run things. We should all know this system. If you've been a longtime fan, it's the Gary Kubiak, system. His son's calling the plays. So we kind of have a good feeling of what they want to do. Russ just doesn't seem to fit it. But I think Roquan Smith's going to have a monster game, both in tackling, and I think he takes one away from Danger Russ. I think he gets a pick.
Like it. All right, so let's keep going, Glenn. What you got from the offensive, key to the game, and breakout player?
Yeah, so on the offensive side of the ball, there's so many things that I'm thinking, like, they're kind of swimming around in my head that it's like it's almost overwhelming just to put one down. I mean, I see yours. I think yours is an excellent one. I'm not going to try and step on your toes there. I think the simplest thing to do is, I don't even know how I typed it and then I erased it because I'm like, I don't even know how you say this, but somehow this offense has got to get back in rhythm. I don't know what. It's not even like I need an explosive, but it just seems like they're so out. Even when they have success, it's almost like it seems off script. Like nothing seems to just like, all right, take 3-step. You're going to, run a 5-yard slant, boom, boom, and just hit it in stride. And we keep going. Everything seems so forced. Everything seems off script. I just need to see some rhythm from this offense. And we haven't seen it in weeks, Jimbo. So mine's just find your rhythm.
Fair enough. Who's your offensive breakout?
Yeah, breakout player. I think Isaiah Likely. He's been my pick quite a few times this year. But yeah, Isaiah Likely, I think, is going to be back, and I think he'll be in that role that we saw Josh Oliver in, and I think he makes that catch that we see Josh Oliver not ultimately come down with. And I think he benefits from the Mark Andrews attention not being on him.
All right, I like it. I like yours. I'm going to see yours and raise you. So I took an easy one here for the offensive key to the game. Fix the problems in the red zone. Just be efficient. Be efficient in the red zone. Get it done. Now, of course, this is against a good red zone defense, but let's get it done in the red zone. And my breakout player, I'm sticking with, I think this is the 3rd time I picked him, maybe the 6th time I picked him. I don't know. But I'm going with Devin Duvernay, who is yet to top 50 yards, I believe, maybe 45, something like that in a game. Devin is going to have a breakout play. Whether I don't know if he's going to get 6 targets or whatever, but out on offense, I think he has a play in which he gains 30 yards plus. So I'm taking Devin Duvernay as my offensive breakout player of the game, where I could easily take Lamar Jackson again as well, because
you're just hoping on Duve at this point.
Hey,
you're just hoping.
Hey, wait,
I don't know. He might be hurt, dude.
Yeah,
maybe. There's some. You're right. Let me ask you this, because I meant to ask you this back when we were talking offense, and I just want to get your take. Greg Roman made a point when they asked him about the reason, like them being late to the play clock being near 0 every time.
Oh yeah,
and I thought he gave an interesting answer.
Yeah, I liked it.
But I want your take. So he basically, if you guys didn't see it, Greg Roman was asked about why the Ravens are constantly snapping the ball with so little time on the play clock, and he said, well, they don't want to rush to the line. And they find that if on average they snap the ball 4 seconds later than the average team does, if you take that over the course of a 70-play game, that means the opponent's offense is on the field 4.5 minutes less just by snapping the ball 4 seconds later than the average team snaps it. And I thought that's kind of interesting, because we know it's a team game, and we know that a good long drive on offense benefits your defense in many ways, not just rest, but also you can't score if you're sitting on the sideline. So what was your take when you heard that explanation and why they don't necessarily snap it with 10 or 11 seconds left on the clock?
I mean, I like the idea. In theory, it makes a ton of sense because not only do we have a run-heavy offense that can dominate in the run game, but add that to it, then that makes it even more potent, right? But the execution has got to improve. I'm glad he took some responsibility for that, which he should. But I like the idea. I'm okay with doing it, especially if, look, you got Peyton, you get up to the line early. You got Brady, you get up to the line early, right? But not saying Lamar can't be Peyton or Brady. That's not my point. My point is that systemically, that's not what we do as an offense.
Yeah.
Right? So if Lamar's not making a ton of changes or calls or whatever, then fine. Like, I'm okay with it. But it just needs to be executed properly. It needs to be done right, period. And if it's not going to be done right, then just stop because it's not worth, just like he said, there's a negative to it. It's not worth the negative that could potentially come with it in being rushed, frustrated, flustered, and things like that. So I like the potential positive outcome, but it needs to be executed properly. Greg Roman says, and this is from Sarah Ellison, of course, what we're talking about is a race to be in control. If we snap an average of 4 seconds later than other teams over the course of 70 plays, you're talking about 45 minutes where their offense can't touch the ball. Those are treasures. Absolutely. I mean, you can't disagree, but execution is worship. It needs to be done right. And if not, then let's just scrap it because I don't think the positives outweigh the.
Well, I think what I think he's saying though is also it's kind of the both. Like that's valuable, but you can't be running up to the line
right
with 5 seconds left and then just rushing to get set and snap the ball. There has to be somewhere between those two. But also did say that they were having some technical headset issues that was leading to some of those, those problems. But he also said that they have protocols for when those headset issues do come into play. Now, I will say him being in the booth probably doesn't aid that because if you're on the sideline, I'm sure it's a lot easier if you have a headset issue to relay the play call from on the sideline than from up in the booth. You can simply tell it to the ear of a player and have him run in, or something like that. Lamar could run and meet you over here. There's other things you can do. Can't do that from the booth. But yeah, so I think they just have to find, because I think that's valuable. I think that's the reason the Ravens a lot of times lead the league in time of possession, which you can't tell me that's not valuable.
Yeah, 100%.
But they got to find a way to not have it be close to being a delay of game every damn time. He said the play call comes between 25 to 22 seconds. That's what he said.
Yeah.
The communication is cut off at 15. So he can't Lamar can't hear Greg Roman after the 15-second mark. So it's like, why are we taking so long? It's got to get fixed. Just has to.
100%. 100%. So, all right, well, let's get into what we're most excited about, and that is our competition. If you guys don't know, we do weekly competition. If you're new to the show, for those of you who've seen it before, we do a weekly competition in which you can get some 410 Sports Talk swag I mentioned before. You guys have your stuff on the way. Please be patient. I know they're having some holiday things, but it's on the way. You will get it. So get in our, we do over-under competition. There's an easy way to participate, 4 ways. 1, you see the social media outlets above Glenn's head. Using those handles, you can send us a direct message and give us your answers to over-under, or you can wait till this video is over and leave your answers in the comment section. Do not do it here on the video. Following that, once a winner is determined, we'll let you know who it is on the next show, and then we'll feel free to just DM us your address and your shirt size, and we'll get your shirt out. All that said, DK does a great job every week creating these over-unders. I'm excited to get into it this week. Get back to my winning ways. I took a week off, but I'm ready to get back to it. So, all right, DK, let's do it, my man. All right, over-under. Lamar Jackson completion percentage. 59% is what it's set at. Last game, he's at 50%. His season percentage is 62.1. Glenn, where are you going, my man?
Yeah, I'm going to say, and it doesn't make me feel good to say this. I'm going to say under. And the reason being, this is a hell of a good defense. His defense is really tough. And until I see the offense make some strides in the passing game, I can't say over here. I mean, right now they're in a rut. And believe me, I'll be hoping that I'm wrong about this. And I will say that part of the reason I said under is I couldn't help but notice that everyone else picked over, and that this is a real opportunity for me to make a move in our competition. So I will say that played a part in my decision, in that I was the last one to enter my my guesses here.
All right, fair enough. Well, I'm not a cheater, so
cheater. It's just cheat.
I'm not a sandbagger over here. So no, I'm just over here throwing shade. No, I'm going over because I'm the optimist on the show. Let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. I believe in the Ravens. Right? I picked them to run the table.
Hold on. You picked us to lose a couple weeks back, and they won.
That's true, but I picked it. Wait, no, I didn't. When?
And they won. Hold on. DK
what game
remembers.
Did I pick us to lose? I don't think I picked us to lose once this year.
Blasphemy. Guys in the chat, please tell me you remember.
I don't think I've done that yet. I'm going to have to go back one of these days and check this out. But all I'm saying is that it's going to be over. Lamar Jackson is going to be on a tear this game. Going to be an absolute monster, MVP form. Over.
All right.
What's next, DK? What we got? Over under. Devin Duvernay targets 4.5. Got 5 last game. He's averaging 3.5 per game. I'm going to take this one first. And, of course, you know where I'm going, Glenn. I'm going over. Over on this one. I think he gets 6. A whopping 6.
Okay.
And this is targets, not catches.
Yeah, will 6 be no, I think he got 8 one game, right? Was this high?
I think you're right, yeah.
In the year. Yeah, I stay under. Under again because I think that's a tough secondary. I mean, they're really, really good. And I think Duvernay, to me, looks like he's dealing with an injury. He's playing through it, to his credit. But something just doesn't look right with Devin Duvernay, and it's not just on the offensive side of the ball. We saw that kick return where he comes out and gets to the 6. Ridiculous. I think he's dealing with an injury, and I think that's partially why we've seen such a lack of production. So I say under, and also couldn't help but notice that all 3 you picked over.
Oh, geez whiz. All right. Well, here we go. What we got next, DK?
All right, so we got Broncos passing yards. DK sets it at 199.5. They average 214 per game through the air. Jimbo, are they going to have over or under 199.5 yards passing?
Under. They're going under because just like the offense needs to come out, and play really well. I think this defense is going to come out pissed off. They're not going to let Russell Wilson come in here with his "let's ride," and he's going to ride in and ride right out. That's about it. I mean, he's not going to do too much hanging around. Yeah, I'm going under 199 for old Russ.
Yeah, I'm going to say over. I think they barely get over. I think they get to like 205 yards. And the reason I think that is because I think they're going to have a lot of trash time where they're kind of getting handled a little bit. And so I think they'll sling it around. And the Ravens, I think, will have some soft coverage in the fourth quarter and allow you to get some yards because who cares? The game's already in hand. And also couldn't help but notice that all 3 you picked under.
Here we go.
So I'm either going to be 3-0 or 0-3 to start.
Most likely 0-3. I mean, that's generally
okay. Oh, that's interesting that you're saying that to the guy who is the most accurate predictor of the show,
and yet 3rd in wins or last in wins.
The best team doesn't always win,
but it is all about winning and losing.
No, it's about the process.
So what do you want? It's not
always about the result.
You want Matt Ryan's career or Joe Flacco's career?
What is that? Look, that's not a one. That's not the same thing in my eyes. Well, you want Trent Dilfer or you want Dan Marino?
I want Trent Dilfer. Dan Marino is haunted by the. He is haunted by the fact that he has a Super Bowl ring for the rest of his life till the day he dies. He's haunted.
Yeah, but he's still.
Trent Dilfer gets to go to bed relaxed with a clear conscience.
Not now. He's a UAB head coach. I don't think he gets much sleep as a head coach. But no, that's crazy. Dan Marino is one of the greatest of all time. He's in the Hall of Fame. Dilfer will he'll only smell the Hall of Fame if he buys a ticket.
Fair enough, but he's got a Super Bowl ring.
That's true. That's true.
All right, what do we got next, DK?
Last one. Marcus
I'm certainly
Peters.
Not Trent Dilfer.
No. Marcus Peters, total tackles, 5.5. DK sets it out. He had 8 last game. Led our team, I believe, which is not
weird.
Good. Well, if Marlon Humphrey, maybe they put him in the slot. He comes up and plays the run. He's been getting some sacks late. But Marcus Peters, that means you're not playing very well if you have 8 tackles. So what do you think? It's more or less than 5.5?
No, I'm going under.
Yeah, I agree.
Going under on this one.
I go under as well, just because I don't think he'll get the targets or catches allowed to get to that many tackles. So looks like we all agreed on that one. All right.
Yep.
So for the first tiebreaker, we have the total score over under. DK sets it at 39.5. Jimbo, will the teams combine for more or less than 39.5 points?
Oh boy, now I need to make sure my math is right here. I'm going over.
Yep.
27-13. Baltimore Ravens win just over 40 points total. I also think it's interesting, Glenn. Your score is very similar to mine. And I know for a fact that I put it down first.
Well, look, we're talking about the same topic. There's a chance that we could have a similar opinion.
Anyway, I think this is a get-back game, both offensively and defensively. I think 13, said this before, but I think it's generous for this offense. It's just not good. Not good. So 27-13, Baltimore Ravens. I think they get a late touchdown when it's already out of hand.
All right. Well, I'm going to go 24-13 Ravens. So I'm saying under, but also a game in which I think the Ravens win handily. And yeah, but you know what that means? It's going to go right down to the wire. I mean, it's going to go right down to the freaking wire with Dangerous looking like an absolute goof out there. Total yards. That's weird. Jimbo, I don't see.
Oh, shoot. I didn't put an entry in for that.
That's
Neither
weird.
did you. I think that's funny. Let's literally do it simultaneously, Glenn.
All right. So total yards for the Ravens. I have them getting 350 for the game. I think this is a game where the Ravens do just fine offensively as far as moving the ball, efficiency. And I just don't think that I think they're going to have some short fields with this offense that they're facing. So I think for that reason, 350 is their total.
All right. I like it.
And intern Brad, 290.
Yeah, no faith, bro. What's up, Brad?
Damn, Brad.
No faith. So I'm going with I'm going to be the most optimistic, I think, right?
Yep.
385. Yep. I think this defense, while in spirit they'll be strong, I think they're out of gas. I think they're done and ready to start booking their tickets for vacation. And I think they start getting smacked in the mouth by Gus Edwards. We stick to the run. You got Pat Ricard coming at you. It gets exhausting. Just does. Too much of a burden for them. And I think the Ravens get it done. So 380 is what I'm going with.
Can't lose to this team. You cannot lose to a team who doesn't think they have – I mean, they have to know that this head coach ain't going to be here next year.
Right.
They got to look at Russell and go, why the hell is he making that much damn money? Like, they got to be looking across and going, that team is what we want to be. Like, we want to be competing for division titles and championships. They're not even close. They're not even – so let's remind them, because if we tried to do it last week, same thing I said last week, remind them that they're a team not in contention and should be planning vacations, and let's not let them stick around and make them feel like they have a shot at the game. So the difference between those two teams, though, it looks like the team absolutely loves and will run through a wall for Coach Peterson in Jacksonville. I don't think the same is going to be said for Hackett.
Yeah, he ain't hacking it. Not a chance. Absolutely. Agree with you 100%. Well, I'm really excited about this. Hopefully you guys feel prepared for the game. We're looking forward to it. I think, like I said, I'm now intoxicated by the Baltimore Ravens again, and I picked a blowout like I said I wouldn't do. But let us know what your guys' comments are.
Oh, and by the way, we're dropping a video right now about Greg Roman and the interest he's getting from Stanford. We just didn't want to lump that in with the live because we knew it would probably take over the entire discussion. But definitely check out that video. It'll be dropping later tonight.
Yes, great call, Glenn. Make sure you guys check it out. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you submit your competition entries. Let's give some shout outs, Glenn. Aiden Falvo, Devon Allen, Jimmy Kidwell.
Aiden thinks someone's going to get fired if we lose this game.
Wouldn't be surprised. Lenny Beeson, Tanja Bowman, Legend E. Let's see. Adam 78. Zeppia Bowman. Looks like we might have some distant relatives in the comments here.
It's Bowman and Broman, I think.
Oh, I missed the R?
I thought I saw that earlier. I think there's an R.
Oh, Browman. Broman. You're right. Yeah, that's a sneaky R.
That's right. You got to watch out.
Yeah, I'll get you. All you guys, we appreciate all you for being in the comments. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Enjoy the game, and we'll be back here right after it. We'll talk to you soon.
See you.